Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be adding some weight down low to my FCX24 brushless K5 blazer that I just built to make it perform better on the rocks. It does well with the brushless system, but it really lacks down low weight. So we're going to take care of that today. First, we're going to remove the body and unplug the lights and get that out of our way. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the first wheel so we can get to the hub. Now the hub weights I chose for this are RC all-wheel drive hub weights. They're cut out so they line up perfectly with the hub. And here they are. You can see they're cut out to line up with the hub perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and get one out and put it on. Now these take a 1.5 hex head. And I found that most places don't have 1.5 drivers. So I ended up getting some sewing machine tools that are 1.5 and 1.6 hex screwdrivers. I'm going to line that up. And here's a picture of the screwdriver that I bought off Amazon. That's for a sewing machine, 1.5 millimeter. We're going to go ahead and take off those screws out of the hub. There's 4 screws that need to come out. We're not going to remove the cover. We're just going to take the screws out. And you can see how long the screws are that came with the hub weights are. So we're going to put the stock screws off to the side. And we're going to put the hub weight down on the hub. Now you have to take the pin and the drive nut off of the hub to put these on. The RC all-wheel drive logo goes to the bottom and the cutout part goes to the top. Then you just simply screw it back together using the screws supplied with the weight hubs. Now these weight hubs are 148 grams total. So it's 37 grams to each wheel. Now while we're in the front, we're going to put some wheel weights in. The screws that are in the beadlock plastic wheels are Phillips head and they're really small. So you need a small Phillips screwdriver. Next, we're going to take out the inner ring. You can see it's got slots on it for going back together for the front side of the hub, or front side of the beadlock wheel. Now these wheel weights, they are 212 grams for all 4, so it's 53 grams per wheel. And they are big, so it takes a lot of stretching to get the tire over the wheel weight. So when you put the wheel weight in there, just make sure that the foam is not off to the side, that it's seated between the wheel weight and the tire. Now these are big wheel weights, so you're going to go ahead and put the plastic ring back on the inside. And it does have little slots for the outer rim to go into. And then you're going to put on the other side of the beadlock wheel and you're going to screw it back together with the Phillips screws that they supply in the wheel. So it is a little challenging to put these back together. I will tell you that. It took me a few minutes to get each wheel put back together. But a little patience and they go back together just fine. So the first front wheel is done. Now that's 90 grams of weight I have added to that one wheel. We're going to go to the back wheel. And on the back wheel, we're just going to add the hub weight, which is 37 grams. That'll give us a nice bias of weight up front. And you're just going to repeat the process. You're going to pull out all 4 screws. And you're going to put the wheel weight or the hub weight on there. And then replace it with the screws they supply. And then we're going to put the wheel back on, put the wheel nut and tighten it down. Now when you take these wheels on and off, when you put them back on, you don't want to over tighten the nut that holds it on. You want to make it so it holds the wheel on, but the wheel is not so tight against the hub. So tighten it down a little bit and make sure that there's just the slightest amount of room for the wheel to move back and forth. So we're going to take the pin out and the drive nut. And then we're going to take all 4 screws out of the hub. Remember, we're not pulling off the cover of the hub, we're just taking the screws out. We're going to put the wheel weight on there, or the hub weight on there, and then we're going to screw it down with the screws that came with the hub weights. And then we're going to take apart the other front tire, take the bead lock apart. Now I personally found it easier just to leave the screws in the bead lock. So loosen them up, take them out of the bottom part of the bead lock, but leave them in their the slots they go into. It's just easier than trying to fit that screw back in that small little hole when you go to put it back together. So we put the wheel weight in there. We made sure the foam is seated properly between the wheel and the tire. You can see the slots in there that the other side of the bead lock falls into. These are plastic bead locks, so we need to add some weight to them. I do like the look of them, and that's why I haven't changed them. I just decided to add weight to the hub and to the tire instead, and keep the bead lock as it is. So we're going to tighten that back down. And we're going to take this last tire off. Take the pin out and the drive nut off. We're going to remove the 4 screws again. It's repetitive. It took me about 45 minutes to do all of this. It wasn't a long time. These hub weights are really nice. They fit right down on the hub. You only need really 1 screw because that thing fits so tight on that hub that it's not going to come off. But we're going to put all 4 back into it. Make sure that cover doesn't come off. Put the pin back in the axle. Put the drive nut back on it. And then we're going to put the wheel back on. Put the nut on and tighten it down. It's heavy. It's definitely, you can notice it's much heavier than it was before. It's 180 grams of weight we've added to the front end, 90 on each side. back end, 37 each side. That 3S battery is heavier than what you would get in a normal battery, so that adds some weight to the back end as well. So we're going to fit the body back onto the frame. And complete this process. These bodies, I tell you, sometimes you're crawling and the body's falling all off of it. Then when you want to take the body off to work on it, it's like pulling teeth trying to get that body off. Now we're back out on the rocks and we can see how it performs. Just to let you know, I am the world's worst one-handed driver. I think. On the whole planet, I have to be the worst one-handed driver guy there is. So forgive me for moving the camera all around while I'm trying to videotape this and drive at the same time, but I am terrible at one-handed driving. But you can see it seems to be much more planted now. It's not tippy like it was before. I took a bad line here. Like I said, being a one-handed driver, I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm videotaping and driving at the same time. It took a bad line, but we're gonna make it work. And you can see it gets all up in the air. That left front tire is about 6 inches in the air right now, and it's just gonna flop back down. It's not gonna tip over because of that front weight we put on there. So I hope this helped you.